Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So it's that time of month again. It's time for another reading wrap up. So I'm going over everything that I read in April, giving my reviews, my thoughts, my feelings, everything. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with the arcs that I had for this month. Now I did get quite a few arcs this month and I just haven't been good about reading them. Oops. But here are the two that I actually did finish this month. And if you're interested in getting arcs yourself, I have a video on getting started in NetGalley, which is where I got all my arcs. I'll have it linked below, all that good stuff. So let's get started with the books. So I'm gonna start off with a bang with The Love Haters by Katherine. Now, to say that I was excited about getting this arc is an understatement. So my mom is like bookish, just like me, and so she understands. So I was so excited about getting this arc, I called my mom just to give you a picture of how excited I was about this. Katherine did not disappoint. I love this so much. Katherine has this amazing way of writing female main characters who feel real, they're relatable, they have flaws, but not like unlikable. Because honestly, making characters seem real, just especially when they're like the main character, seems like a very difficult tightrope to walk for an author. They're either have too many flaws and they're kind of unlikable, or they don't have enough flaws and it feels like a Mary Sue situation. It just feels like a really thin line that authors have to walk, and it seems like Katherine has mastered this. So this book is not only like a romance novel, it's about love, but it's also about loving yourself and coming to terms with yourself and everything like that, which I thought she really wove into the story nicely. And sometimes Katherine books kind of feel like an in-between of a romance novel and like literary fiction, which I really like. Because as much as I love a romance novel, I really need something to go along with the romance, because just romance sometimes just isn't enough. And this one really delivered on that. So the next arc that I read this month was The Austen Affair. This one was a little more disappointing. I really loved the concept, because it's about these two actors who are doing a adaptation of a Jane Austen novel, and they get sent back in time to that time period, and sold on that description alone. Like, I think I just read the tagline or something and I was just sold, loved it. The only issue is this author is not as good at doing that tightrope that I was talking about with making a main character likable and still having some flaws. The main character in this one is not very likable, like at all. I really just didn't like her. She just seemed kind of like mean girl, you know what I'm saying? Like capital M, capital G. For example, there is a movie that the main male character mentions talking about as like an example of like their situation, and she just kind of rudely blows him off and says, I was busy being popular in high school, so I didn't watch it. I don't know, it's just little things like that that just made her really kind of unlikable. So I have read quite a few books actually where it's the exact same thing, where it's someone who loves Austen, gets transported back into Austen novels or back in time to that same time period. So this is not exactly a new concept, but it's one that I've loved every single other book I've read that had that exact same story. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna love this. I just wish the main female character was a little more likable. That's all. That's the main thing. So those are all the arcs that I read this month. So now on to the other books. The first one we'll talk about is I Got Abducted by Aliens and Now I'm Trapped in a Rom-com. So I usually now just put up a picture of the book and talk about it for these videos, but I tried several times to get the name of this book right and I just couldn't. It was too long. I couldn't remember all of it. Got some of it wrong. I don't know. I also kept adding an S to the end of the author's name, Kimberly and Lemming. So I was like, I'm just gonna get my library copy of this out and just do these videos the way I used to, where I had the book in my hand for them. I really like this a lot. I honestly did not expect to like this at all. It's because of a few of her other books. I can't remember all the names of all of them, because once again, their names are very long. But I think I DNF'd one of the first book of her other series. I either DNF'd it or rated it very low. I can't remember, because it was like last year. But I really like this one a lot. It is the most ridiculous thing I have ever read that wasn't on AO3. Let me tell you. This is insane. There's a talking lion. There's dinosaurs. There's aliens. It's insane and I love it. Like, it really leans into how ridiculous everything is. You know how when like you're reading a book and then something insane happens, it just seems completely out of character or just really weird and it seems out of place. And so it kind of is a little off-putting or whatever. Everything weird belongs, and so nothing is all that weird. You're kind of expecting the weird stuff to happen. It's like dinosaur, okay. Talking lion, okay. Alien guy with I think like hooves or something, okay. Like, you just roll with it and it's fun, and it was a really easy light read. It's not that long, and so I read this in like I think an afternoon maybe, Like I said, I really enjoyed this, and I'll be reading the rest of this series because I think this is a start of a new series for her, I think. And I will definitely be reading the rest of them. And I think I might give her other series like a second shot, maybe, because I love this one so much. Like, this one might be my favorite for the month. I'm not sure. I really enjoyed this. This was absolutely ridiculous. I did look up a few reviews for this book because of, like I said, when I was trying to decide if I wanted to give it a shot or not, because I either DNF'd or rated her other book series really low. And so I was kind of like on the fence. And so I read like one review that said like it reminded them of Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, which is another really fun series. I can definitely see the comparison. I do not think they're that similar, other than the whole story of girl gets kidnapped by alien, left on alien planet, other aliens help her out. That's the basic story of Ice Planet Barbarians. Very like minimalized, but basically that's what the stories are. And that's basically what this is as well, just completely different. Like, this was a lot goofier, as you can tell from the dinosaurs and talking lions. So next is Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey. So I have the physical copy for this one to show you as well because I want to show off the pretty sprayed edges. Isn't that pretty? It's because she's a musician. She's a musician and he's a hockey player. So I think this is my favorite of the Big Shot series because the other books were really more just romance and not super much else going on. As a matter of fact, I think it was the second book in this series, The Au Pair Affair, that made me realize, okay, I don't like just straight up romance. I need something other than just romance going on, or else I'm going to get a little bored with it. There's an exception to every rule, but for the most part, I do need something other than romance going on in order to keep my attention. And this one did have a little bit more going on. His stuff with like his past trauma, figuring out some family history stuff he doesn't know about, like a family mystery he's trying to work out. And then she has been incredibly sheltered her whole life and is a harpist prodigy. And so she's been sheltered her whole life. And so she is trying to break out of that and get away and set some healthy boundaries with her mom and how that's going and everything like that. So it was nice having a little bit something else going on other than just the romance. So also another thing that made me realize about this book is that forbidden romance is not a trope I'd like. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Because they're like step siblings or something. And they meet and they fall in love at first sight, because Tessa Bailey, love at first sight, that's what she does. But they don't know each other and they don't know that they're going to be step siblings. And then the next time they see each other is when they find out that, oh crap, we're going to be step siblings because it's their parents introducing each other, the whole families together and all that kind of stuff. And so they can't be together because they're siblings and all that kind of stuff, or they're going to be because their parents don't like get married till like near the end. So, but still, like I don't know. My main issue though with the book was that the main female character is described as a manic pixie dream girl kind of thing, and she does act it, and it's annoying sometimes. Which you see in her chapters why she is the way that she is, because of her being sheltered, and so she doesn't understand how to really do anything for herself to an extreme, because like she came from like serious money, and so she never had to do dishes herself, she never had to pay bills herself and things, so she's having to learn all that kind of stuff, and which is fine. The only thing is that she keeps making the same really dumb mistakes over and over and over, and it's kind of played off as, oh look how quirky she is, and it's annoying. Because like there's one part where she like forgets to pay her rent multiple times. And I'm like, set a reminder on your phone. Like, that's not a personality trait. That's irresponsibility. Which I guess is a personality trait. But it's played off more as her being like, oh, cutesy, manic dream pixie girl kind of thing. And I just do not like it. But like, so the story is her learning how to do things on her own and set healthy boundaries with her mom and things like that, which is a little more of a story than, like I said, than just romance. And so that was interesting to read that. And then his story was that he's trying to solve some kind of like family mystery kind of thing, because he was raised by a single mom, he was abandoned by his dad, and he doesn't really know the whole story, and he keeps trying to ask her about it, and she'll just shut him out. And so he doesn't know what's going on, so he has to hire a private investigator, and it's the whole thing. So it's nice having a little bit of something other than just the romance going on. So they also introduced the couple for the next book, which is, I think his name was Kerrigan, which is one of the hockey players on his team with him, and someone named Skylar, who is a pitcher for a baseball team or something. Which I thought all like professional sports, they were all either all male teams or all female teams, but she's a female pitcher on an all male team. I didn't know they did that. I don't know anything about sports, so I'm like, is that normal? I don't know. Will I still read it? Yes, of course. Next is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, and so I also have the copy here instead of like putting a picture up because I want to show off these sprayed edges. Look how pretty that is. It's supposed to look like a pool because they're swimmers. That's really pretty. I really like how authors and publishers are now like doing a little more with books to, I guess, in order to make people want to buy the physical copy instead of getting like the book on their e-reader or something, because now it seems like a lot more places are doing like sprayed edges even for a paperback, and they're doing like artwork and other things like that, and like there's special editions for different places. Like Walmart has one, Barnes & Noble will have one, and then like Amazon will have one, Target will have one. Sort of like, you know, the special edition for Onyx Storm. I'm not sure which one this one is. I got this one off Amazon. So I think it's just the Amazon Deluxe Edition or just a general Deluxe Edition. I don't really know. I don't think it was Amazon exclusive. I do not have the Target one because I value my life and did not want it to go into that riot. So I just had mine delivered to me. I was one of the lucky people whose copy did not like get deleted or something off Amazon. I've heard that happened to like a friend of mine. Anyway, back to this book. This is not my favorite Ali Hazelwood book. It's not my least favorite Ali Hazelwood book. It was all right. Like I said, it was all right. Once again, the romance is the main and pretty much only story plot. So I got bored here and there. I also listened to this book a little bit because I had an audiobook from the library. And so whenever a book gets a little slow, I will borrow the library audiobook and listen to it and make it go a little faster for me. I do have a video where I listened to nothing but audiobooks for an entire week, and this was one of them, and then Dream Girl Drama was also another one. If you want to check that out, I'm going to have the link down below and up above if you want to check that out. Anyway, like I said, this was okay. I did think that the main characters' personalities were a little dull. Not like they were boring. It's more of like they didn't feel like they were completely fleshed out to where you really got to know their personalities very well. And what little they did show was a little boring. Like, not really boring. Boring's not the right word. Boring seems too strong. Something a little less than boring. Just meh. You know, just meh, I guess. It's not really a word, but I just keep doing that over and over, hoping you understand me. But hopefully you understand me. Yeah. I think I rated this one either 2.5 or 3. I can't remember. I'll have it on the screen, so I'll have to go back and add in all the stars and stuff. So I'll look it up then. But it was either 2.5 or 3. I can't remember. So the next is the last of the Emily Wilde series. I've been really loving this series, so I'm sad to see that it's over. But I'm also really happy to see all the characters come to their happy ending and everything like that. I do feel like a few of the storylines felt a little rushed. But overall, I did really enjoy this one a lot. I'm gonna really miss books with Wendell in it. I really enjoyed Wendell more than I thought I would. So this book and the whole series are done in where it's like an academic writing her notes and everything like that, or like keeping a journal so she can write a paper on it later. And so there's like actual footnotes. There's her referring to other academic works and other things that really helps flesh out the whole world. And it's just really well done. So next is Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams, which is another book in the When in Rome series that she's been doing. She just announced the last one just recently, which is this one. Really excited for that one. But this one, Beg, Borrow, or Steal, is the newest one as of right now. And I really like this one a lot. It's not my favorite in the whole series, I don't think, which is hard to say because I still haven't finished the first book in the series. But I did like this one. The only thing that really bothered me is that once again, it's supposed to be enemies to lovers, but they're not really enemies. She is just an immature adult who someone stumbled and spilled coffee on her once in college and decided to hate him for the rest of her life for no reason. Because as it says multiple times throughout the book, by multiple people, he is just very, very likable. She just doesn't like him because he spilled coffee on her and it was a little awkward when they were younger. Like, come on, who wasn't weird in college or high school or something, you know? Like, but whatever. So they're kind of like workplace rivals, But once again, it only really started because she disliked him so much from that one like first meeting in college that she just can't get over for some reason. And that was a little annoying. But for the most part, I did really like the book. There's a little bit of forced proximity because they become neighbors, and so I do enjoy that. And then there's a few other little things here and there where I'm like, you know, giddy and kicking my feet, and it's sweet and adorable. And there's also a little more other than just romance once again. There is the main female character dealing with not being needed by her family anymore because she's the oldest of all her siblings and their parents died when they were pretty young. And so she had to step up and take care of everyone. And so she's coming to terms with the fact that her siblings are getting older and they don't need her anymore. And so she's like, well, then what is there to me now? Because if she made taking care of her siblings her whole life. And then on the other side, for the main male character, he is an author and he's living under the shadow of his dad in a way. He's having to deal with the toxic parents and setting boundaries and that sort of thing. And also he's just getting out of a very serious relationship and dealing with everything from that as well. And so there is a little bit more than just the romance, which is what I really like. So the next one is Wilde and Wrangled, which is the last of the series by Lyla Sage. And unfortunately, this was definitely my least favorite of the series, which is kind of a bummer since it's like supposed to be the end of the series and wrapping everything up. And I just didn't like this one very much. It was meh. There were a few spots where I like almost DNF'd it. I kind of knew going into it that I wasn't gonna love this one as much as some of the others. Like I knew it wasn't gonna be my favorite in the series, mainly because of it's a second chance romance, and I wasn't sure if there was gonna be a third act breakup. Some places said there was, some places said there weren't, so I wasn't sure. And those are two tropes that I really don't like. And combined together, I knew I wasn't gonna like that because of the couple's already broken up before. And usually when they do that, they either do it for a good reason, and so when they get back together, it seems forced and they feel like they shouldn't be together, or it was for a really dumb reason, and that's just really dumb. Like it's where, yeah, they can get over it, but they shouldn't have broken up from it in the first place. You know, that sort of thing. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain my feelings on second chance romance. But then add that with a possible third act breakup where I think it's overdone. And once again, they don't usually break up for a good reason because they have to get the characters back together in a really short time, and so it's usually something that doesn't deserve them breaking up in the first place, and it's literally just there to correct some conflict in a book that doesn't have enough going on, the author feels like, and so it feels forced most of the time. And so I knew I was gonna like it because of those two reasons. And then on top of that, Cam, the main female character, has been in all the other books, and I didn't really care for her that much. Like she was okay, she was kind of bland. But the last book focused on a character who I actively did not like in any of the other books, and I ended up really liking him in his own book. So I was like, okay, I'll give her a shot. What can happen? Turns out, still didn't like her. Actually, in this book, I ended up liking her even less. I don't agree with her decisions. I understand why she made a few of them, though they were bad decisions and dumb. She has some history with her family where I'm like, okay, I can kind of see where this could be where your thoughts at. I don't personally see it, but whatever. But then when you find out the reason why her and Rusty broke up, it's just, I almost DNF'd it at that point. So there's a few bits and pieces here where it is sweet and, you know, the main couple do have their moments. So next is Lights Out by, I'm not gonna pretend like I can pronounce that name. I did really enjoy this. This is me dipping my toe into like some dark romance. So like, I've read a little bit about the book before I started it. And it seemed like people who were like really into dark romance were like, oh no, that doesn't really count. And people who like don't read dark romance are like, oh yeah, it's definitely dark romance. So it's like in between. So I thought it'd be a good starting point for me to like see if I like that genre. And I definitely like this, but I definitely don't think I would want anything darker than this. But if you have any like light dark romances, like recommendations, please leave them down in the comments. Because I did really enjoy this one a lot. And I definitely added the next book, Caught Up, on my list to get as soon as that's published. I really like this one. I really like Josh more than I thought I would because of him being the morally dark one in the story. And I actually did like the main female character, which, as you can tell from the reviews from the other books in this video, I have a hard time with the female main characters being likable. I feel like that's something that a lot of authors have a hard time doing because also they make it where the main female character is almost like a self-insert where it's meant to be read where you can put yourself into the story. And so she is meant to be a little more bland and not have so much of a personality. And I feel like that wasn't the case with her at all in this book. And so it felt like an actual reading of full story instead of like a self-insert kind of thing. And so I did really enjoy that. And it was a really easy read once I got into it. Because at the very beginning it was kind of difficult because of like, it is a different genre than what I'm used to. And it is 99% just their romance, which also usually just not enough. But there's also the cat and mouse game of it, her trying to catch him and him, chasing after her. And so there is a little bit more going on than just the romance, so that was fun. So the next book is Summer Reading. This book was okay. It was all right. Once again, the main female character, didn't like her. I know this book was supposed to be a dyslexia and ADHD rep kind of thing, but it was laid on a little too thick. Like, I understand that it affects every aspect of someone's life. I understand that. However, she doesn't need to tell people and talk about it so much, so often, that it becomes her defining and only personality trait. That was really annoying. And like, there's even a part of the book where I can't remember exactly, because like this is one of the first books I read in the month, so I really don't remember exactly. But where she's like, oh yeah, I like this guy, but he's a reader and I'm not. Like, okay, you can have other interests. Like, that's not, reader is not his only personality trait. Not reader is not your only personality trait. Like, I don't know, it just seemed like a very high school mindset. That seemed a little immature for someone in her age. But I would have loved the book a lot more if they replaced the main female character in this book with her friend that's a librarian. And the librarian friend is in the next book, so really excited about that one. I'm definitely going to try and read that next month. But I would have liked that a lot more because the main male character is like, I can't remember exactly his job, but he works in the library as well. Because he's a reader. That's his thing. Apparently it's his own personality trait. And he's trying to figure out some kind of family mystery thing that's on the island where they all live. And that was the interesting part of the book. Like, the romance wasn't that interesting. There was a few bits here and there where like, you're kicking your feet and you're giggling. But for the most part, the main female character was just meh. She just kind of annoyed me most of the time. So that's the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any book recommendations based off anything that I was reading in this video and saw something you think I might also like or something like that, please leave a comment down below, because I love book recommendations. I don't care how long my TBR list is, I will always take and listen to book recommendations. Always. That's probably why my TBR list is so long, actually. Oh well. So if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!